Hi, this is David Birkett, Lions beat writer for the Oakland Press. We're 2.5 weeks into Lions training camp. Lions are 1-0 after beating the New York Giants last week in their exhibition opener, and I've got 3 thoughts on how things are going so far. First impressions are that Calvin Johnson and Roy Williams, I'd be real surprised if they're not the best receiving tandem in the league this year. I know Roy said early in training camp that Chad Johnson and TJ Houshmandzadeh from the Bengals and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, you still have to put those 2 up top just because they've done it. Where him and Calvin, haven't really proven themselves on the NFL level yet, or Roy has, but Calvin had a kind of an up and down rookie year. But the way those 2 have looked, in the talent that they have, I just think the Lions' passing game could really be something special if the offensive line could protect John Kitna this year. Exhibition opener, Calvin had 4 catches. He's just a monster in one-on-one, and Roy's in a contract year, so he's going to have a real good season. The Lions really could be something special, but the thing they're really working on and focused on this preseason is developing the run. As I said, the offensive line's a little bit sketchy right now. Still, I don't think they have all their starters back. Edwin Militalo was back from the physically unable to perform list, and Gazder Cherilus is working with the second team, but I think Gazder is going to be playing first string right tackle before too long here. So I'm going to hold off passing judgment on that until that line gets some time to work together, the starting unit. And it looks like we're probably going to have a rookie running back carrying the bulk of the load too. Kevin Smith has had a pretty good camp. He's been more impressive than Tatum Bell. Didn't have a great first game, but he shows a little burst, has a little pop. He can make some moves in the hole. And so I think the Lions, and Rod Marinelli has said this a number of times, they're really trying to get that thing going, because if they can get defenses to commit to stopping the run, to at least pay attention to the run, it's really going to help them out with what they're trying to do in the passing game with the bootlegs and trying to get Calvin and Roy one-on-one. Thought 2 is on the rookies, and I mentioned Gazder a little bit, Kevin a little bit. Those 2 are going to be 2 of what I really think are going to be 4 starters by the end of the season. Gazder had kind of an up and down first game himself. He had 3 penalties, but he did real well in the run. I mean, he's a powerful blocker. He really gets on people. He still loses his footing at times in pass blocking, but he is going to be a starting right tackle for a while. And as someone, a veteran talent evaluator told me, who has a much better eye for these things than I do, he said, he's going to be a guy that you're going to have to live with some limitations at first, but he's the guy that you're going to be able to plug at that position for 10 years. Kevin Smith, he's another guy that's going to be productive. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, but just the little things that you can see in camp. He catches the ball well. He's a pretty good pass blocker. He's going to be able to start at that position as long as he stays healthy for the next couple years. The other 2 starters I think the Lions have are out of the rookie class are Jordan Dizon, second-round pick at linebacker, who's running 3rd team right now at middle linebacker, and fullback Jerome Felton, the 5th-round pick. Felton will probably win the starting fullback job. He's taking the number 1 reps right now. John Bradley's out with a little shoulder injury, but Felton's had a pretty good camp. Rod Marinelli's had nothing but good things to say about him, really, and just the physicality that he plays with. And as for Dizon, again, I know he's running 3rd string right now, but he's another guy that makes plays. In Sundays, the Lions got back to 2-a-days Sunday, and he was out there just playing middle, deflecting passes. He broke up 2 passes with good reads on the ball. He still plays a little hectic at times, but he's a guy that really finds the ball. And if you watch him in blocking drills, in one-on-one drills, you really can see that his instincts are well beyond his years, as a rookie, and it's still trying to figure out whether he's going to play strong side or middle linebacker this year. But I do think the Lions are going to have a decision to make there: either move him to the strong side or move Paris Lennon to the strong side, just to get their 3 best linebackers on the field when things get going. A couple other rookies that have made an impact, but aren't going to start and aren't going to have the type of impact. Those first 4 are Cliff Averill, Andre Fluellen, and Landon Cohen. Cohen's still kind of a long shot to make the team, but he showed some things at defensive tackle. He's going to be on the practice squad if nothing else, and I do think there's an outside chance that if the Lions keep 10 linemen, that he could make the team. He'd have to beat out a couple veterans, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Fluellen's been a little up and down, and Averill too. Marinelli's gotten on him a little bit, but both those guys show some things in the pass rush that lead me to believe that they could be contributors here this year, at least a little bit. And then final thoughts, just kind of looking ahead. The Bengals are up next, and then they got a home game against the Browns, and wrap up the preseason against the Buffalo Bills. The things that I'm really going to be looking for out of the Lions are now that everybody's off the physically unable to perform list. Corey Redding is back practicing. He wasn't on PUP, but he missed last week with a groin injury. Daniel Bullocks came back to practice today on Monday. Dan Campbell is back. Sean McDonald's back. I'm really anxious to see, especially how the defense looks. The new secondary, they only played a quarter of action in the first preseason game. Probably play about the same, maybe a little bit more in Game 2, and then we'll see him play a full half in Game 3. But the Lions really revamped that secondary this year. Got maybe as many as 4 new starters, and Lee Bodden, who's running second string right now at cornerback, Brian Kelly at the other corner, Dwight Smith at safety, and then Daniel Bullocks, who missed last year with the knee injury, could start at safety, either him or Gerald Alexander. Either way, you've got a pretty experienced backfield secondary that's going to be able to cause some plays. And I want to see them working hand in hand with the defensive line, because that's really the thing that drives the defense. Dwayne White's had a real good camp. Corey Redding, before he missed about a week with that groin, was looking real good. And then Sean Cody has been pretty well too. So, I'm really anxious to see how those guys are in game action, and really just see. I know we're not going to see a whole lot, preseason-wise, but when they play against the Cleveland Browns, a team that's got a pretty good offense with a Braylon Edwards, with Derek Anderson, who's an up-and-coming quarterback, I think we're going to be able to tell a lot about the Lions this year defensively. That's it for today. Check back next week, and we'll have another edition of Lions Lowdown here on the OaklandPress.com and YouTube.com. And again, I'm Dave Birkett, Lions beat writer for the Oakland Press.